Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to Desert Sky Adventures. This is your Desert Sky Daily for Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. And today we are back out here in the desert. We are, north of Tombstone? South of Tombstone. Once again, looking for Brunckow cabin. I was out here last week and my expedition was unsuccessful, but I'm here today with my friend Todd. You might know him as Wyatt Earp at the OK Corral, but he says he knows the way to Brunckow cabin. So he saw that last video and said, hey, I can point you in the right direction. So we're out here again today, a little bit earlier today. It's not quite as warm. Even at the hottest point today, I think it's going to be cooler than it was last week. So we are once again on our way out to, at least hopefully, to find Brunckow cabin. So last time we made it out this way, I was so wrapped up with trying to find Brunckow cabin that I really didn't talk a whole lot about what happened there. But it's a very interesting place. According to Wikipedia, Brunckow cabin is a historic cabin southwest of Tombstone in Cochise County, Arizona. It is purported to be the bloodiest cabin in Arizona history. Between 1860 and 1890, at least 21 people were killed there, many of whom were buried on site. Presently, little of the cabin remains except for a few foundations, small portions of the walls. A few unmarked graves have been identified, but because of theft, vandalism, and erosion, the site has been heavily damaged. Well, we can tell it's heavily damaged from here, but we still want to go take a closer look at it. We've made it down the trail to this first point of interest. This was about as far as I got last week, after I had looked around, and it took me a while to figure out that I was on the right path, but by the time I had figured that out, it was just too hot to continue. But somebody asked me in the last video, what is a geodetic control point? I have no idea. There's not a whole lot of history, at least from what I could find online, of what this used to be. Even the people who were writing the the thing in the magazine telling you how to get to Brunckow cabin, they didn't even know what it was. But you got a survey marker over here. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Part of a valve cover, maybe? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. The county might have put that in. That's for the floodplain.
2004.
They might have done that when they did.
Huh.
Somebody left their 45 auto spent round.
Oh, yeah. So that must be Brunckow cabin, like right over there.
That looks about right.
All right. Let's make our way.
Somebody tried to dig.
It just goes down, what, a couple feet and stops?
It's no deeper than the height of this.
Huh. Not an open mine shaft. Well, that's good.
Prospected.
What's left of the cabin is right out there. I believe we're actually going to make it today. This is not too bad of a trail, especially this time of day. And if you come out in the winter months, it'll be no problem. But this time of year, trek like this, start early if you can. And as always, keep an eye out for rattlesnakes.
Nope.
They'll ruin your day pretty quick. Frederick Brunckow was born in Germany in 1830 after attending the University of Westphalia to become a mining engineer, and immigrated to the United States in 1850, joined the Sonora Exploring and Mining Company, which eventually took him west. In 1858, Brunckow left Sonora Company to develop his own San Pedro silver mine, which was located approximately 8 miles southwest of what would become Tombstone, near the San Pedro River. Joining him were a chemist named John Moss, or Morse, they're not sure, a German cook named David Brontrager, and 2 miners named James and William M. Williams. Relying mainly on Mexican labor, Brunckow built a store for supplies and a cabin to be used for sleeping quarters. A small and simple structure, the cabin was made of adobe and had a tin roof and a fireplace. This is where it gets crazy. On July 23rd, 1860, William Williams left the mine and went west to Fort Buchanan to purchase some flour. When he returned on the night of July 26th, which was just a couple nights ago, Williams found that the store had been ransacked. Some of the provisions were missing and the rest had been knocked off of the shelves or onto the floor. Continuing on, Williams found the source of the smell that he could not immediately identify. When he arrived back to the camp, his cousin James had been murdered and was lying among the provisions. Without hesitation, Williams ran out the door and went back to the fort to tell the soldiers. All these little bushes have thorns on them. Yeah, that's what they are, choias. Other than that, it's not too bad.
Oh, right to the wash. The fun part
is getting up the other side. Well, it looks like it levels out off to the right a little bit. Maybe we can find an easy way up over there. Woo.
All right.
Yep.
Funny, it almost looks like lava rock.
Yeah, this is the wash that when I saw it on GPS, I thought was a road.
Yeah.
And it is not a road. I found that out the
That's what made me look.
unfortunate way. But yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah. Now we just need to get up there. But like you said, if we walk down the wash a little bit, then might, unless...
There is a path right here.
Let me see if my phone shows anything.
We've gotten this far.
Yeah, it just makes it interesting building the cabin up on a hill like that. Back in the times where this was controlled by the Apaches.
Yeah.
And the who knows what gives you 360-degree views of your surroundings instead of being homesteaded or set up in a little canyon where you could be ambushed.
Yeah, yeah.
But being here on the wash, this would have been flowing. Would have given them plenty of access to fresh water. And possibly fish if there was fish flowing through here as well.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, nice 360-degree view. Be hard for people to sneak up on you unless it's in the middle of the night or something.
So it's kind of smart.
Yeah, good idea. Yep. Could have been part of the roof for all we know.
Possible. We made it.
We did.
I know there's a little opening right here.
Have officially made it to the remains of Brunckows cabin. So yeah, the guy went into town, came back, found his buddy dead among with all the provisions either stolen or destroyed. But that's just where the story begins to get weird. So yeah, the guy got back here, found his buddy dead somewhere right over here, and went to go tell the soldiers. Well, the next morning, soldiers arrived. They found 2 more dead bodies. Morris was laying in the dirt outside of the camp. He'd been ravaged by animals. Brunckow was found either near the entrance of the mine shaft or inside of it. He was reportedly killed with a rock drill. Brauntrager and the Mexican laborers were missing, as well as the company's livestock. Altogether, about $3,000 worth of goods had been taken. Later that same night, Brauntrager arrived at the Camp Jecker and told the miners there had been that he had been taken hostage by Mexican laborers. Brunckow, I think that's his name, Brunckow, said the Mexicans had turned on him and his friends just a few hours after William Williams left for the fort, and that they let him go at the international border because they believed him to be a good Catholic. The soldiers buried Brunckow and others at the cabin where the killers were never apprehended. It's right around here. This is a small cabin.
Well, yeah, they weren't real big. This, I'm thinking, was probably the fireplace. This could be part of the chimney that was here, just because of the opening. That could have been the main doorway of the cabin.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But there's something I wanted to check real quick, because he kind of has characteristics.
Gosh. So when do they say this was 18? Well, July 23rd, 1860 was when that dude found his friend here dead, and we went and got the soldiers. So 1860 at least. This stuff has been out here.
Telltale signs of potentially a grave? I mean, it could just be remnants of the cabin.
Yeah, they used to stack the rocks up like that.
They used to stack them to keep the varmints out.
It could be anywhere around here.
And all in all, you have good views. A couple more tailing piles over there.
Yeah, that could be the mine over there, because the mine is supposed to be very close to the cabin.
Well, there's that. But you also have, like, these tailings over here. You got some there.
Yeah, it could be over there, maybe.
You got that big run. Looks like it's got sulfur in it because of the yellow.
But yeah, that was the crazy thing about this, because this guy found silver out here before Shefflin did. His mine opened in like 1860 or something like that. And that could be it right over there, or it might be out over in that direction. Not sure. But he didn't turn it into a town. Shefflin turned it into a town. It says in 1873, a man named Milton B. Duffield acquired ownership of Brunckow's cabin and the mining claim. However, a man named James T. Holmes also claimed to be the owner. On June 5th, 1874, Duffield arrived at Brunckow's cabin to evict Holmes. As he approached, Duffield began waving his arms and shouting like a madman in his usual manner. Assuming that Duffield was armed to the teeth, that's a quote, as he usually was, and knowing of his violent reputation, Holmes grabbed the double-barreled shotgun, walked out the front door, and without hesitation shot the old lawman dead. Which probably happened right over here.
Mm-hmm.
It was at that point Holmes realized the victim was unarmed. But Duffield was buried at the cabin, somewhere around here. Holmes was arrested, tried for murder, and sentenced to 3 years in prison, but he escaped before having a chance to serve any time. The authorities did not make an effort in finding him, and he was never seen in Arizona again. Is that crazy or what? It also says here in 1877, just prior to the discovery that led to the founding of Tombstone, Ed Shefflin established a permanent camp at Brunckow's cabin, right here, to be used as a base for exploring with his brother Al and fellow prospector named Richard Gerd. These are all very popular names if you live in Tombstone. Shefflin searched the area for weeks, constantly on the lookout for hostile Apaches. Stay was uneventful. There were, however, several fresh graves at Brunckow's cabin that served as mute testimony to recent Apache raids. Shefflin is said to have used the cabin's fireplace for assaying silver ore samples, which would have been right over there in the corner. Frank Stillwell, a member of the outlaw Cochise County Cowboys and of the Clanton faction during the famed Earp-Clanton feud, owned the land that the cabin sits on for a while. On March 20th, 1882, Wyatt Earp found him laying in a flat car in Tucson Station, apparently intent on killing Virgil, or he killed him. So Frank Stillwell owned this for a little while. That's crazy. I'd also read somewhere that, I don't remember exactly what the year was, but a bunch of the cowboys had robbed a Wells Fargo stagecoach, and they got a bunch of gold bullion, and they came out here to divide up the gold right here in this room, and somehow they got into a dispute with one another, and all 5 guys were found either in here or just outside, dead of gunshot wounds, and the gold was still sitting on the table when the law arrived. Is that crazy or what?
It makes you wonder how many of these potential bullet holes you see in the walls could have been from that period.
Yeah.
150, 160 years you're going to have.
Yeah, you're right. These could be the bullet holes that, if those guys missed, I'm sure a couple of them probably did. I mean, they might not be bullet holes, but they look like they certainly could be.
Yeah, there's some that are definite bullet holes.
We just read on the way up here that there were several unmarked graves in the area. I thought I read in another story that some of them were still visible, but I don't know. I mean, who knows how... I'd imagine you probably wouldn't bury someone right outside your house, right? So it might be down the road a little bit, or maybe down the hill. I'm not sure.
If we walk around, we might find some.
So Brunckhow's cabin being back there, you can imagine that several of those bodies were probably buried somewhere in this general area. A century and a half has gone by since that event occurred, so who knows what's left, if anything. Oh, here's another old piece of metal. Those are probably very old pieces of metal.
Somewhat pile of rock here. Hard to tell.
As we read on the way up, there were grave robbers and vandals and all kinds of stuff throughout the course of 150 years or so.
Looks like another potential pile over there.
The historic, mysterious, and supposedly very haunted remains of Brunckow's cabin. All right, Todd. Well, we came, we saw, we made a video. It's starting to warm up. I think that might be where we call it a day. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. We found it.
All right.
And relatively easy to get to.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, the road is right over there. It's just there's no way to access it from the road. But if you were walking from the road, it would have been a much shorter walk.
It would have been a steeper walk.
A steeper walk, yeah. You're going up and down hills there. But yeah, not too hard to get to. If you come out here, just watch out for the thorns and the choyas and
nope ropes.
And the nope ropes, as we call them around here, the rattlesnakes. Haven't seen any today, so hopefully we'll have the same luck on the way back. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming with us to Brunckow's cabin. We hope you enjoyed the trip and taking a look around this little piece of history not too far from Tombstone. And that's where we're going to end it for today. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, until the next video, see you down the road.